this is how we bring the month of April to a final close, the 30th of April, a Tuesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Of course, if you keep a very permanent eye on Nigeria, you know today is the deadline for all Nigerian commercial banks to submit their proposed recapitalization program to the Central Bank of Nigeria. We expect the Central Bank to make a formal announcement over the next few days. If all the banks in Nigeria have complied with the latest directive, now the 2-year program of recapitalization starts today, formally as it were, and will run through to the end of April 2026. Welcome to the show once again. I am Bosin Namafai. The Nigerian stock market was down 0.19% yesterday as the market marked down 2023 dividend cash payments for Dangote Cement, Seplat Energy. Seplat Energy reported its first quarter earnings yesterday, a bit of under pressure there for the energy company, but still managed to pull through, reporting a net loss of about $1.3 million for the first 3 months of this year. Let's keep that there. The BRVM was down by 0.27% on Monday. The Ghana stock market came back very strongly after a very sluggish last week. The main index came back about 1.4% to the upside on Monday, a very surprising one. The Egyptian stock market reversed Sunday's decline of about 5.23% to about 5.57% on Monday. The EGX 30 went back to 26,000, still a long way from EGX 30. We've seen roughly 30,000 sometime last year. The NSE in Nairobi was down by 0.75%, 106.80, while the GSE in South Africa jumped up 1.44%. Resources, financials, industrials will let the Monday's market. MTN Group shares climbed very strongly. Amplats, modern names in resources, as well as Discovery Financial Services Group. Those are your numbers, broadly speaking, across Africa. Zimbabwe stock market index, new index also creeping towards 100, back again around 99.16 when the market closed on Monday. Let's move on and check through the big headlines across eastern corridor of the continent, with Carrefour Kenya, the retail store chains, reporting sales down 4.3% for last year, roughly 38 billion shillings on the back of a weak local currency. That's the Kenyan shilling, by the way. And the Middle East crisis could pump up fuel prices in Kenya. The World Bank forecasting oil prices could go up to $100 per barrel if the conflict in Middle East continues. But we got some good news yesterday that the risk premium being placed on oil prices has been lowered somewhat because of the ceasefire proposal on the table that Israel is expecting Hamas to decide upon. A delegation of Hamas went to Egypt yesterday to have a meeting with Egyptian authorities to try to broker a peace deal between Israel and Hamas group. All that in the news. Of course, you have the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also in the Middle East trying to broker some ceasefire and, if possible, put an end to the hostilities that started a couple of months ago. In the meantime, the UAE's Etihad Airways says it's resuming direct flights to Nairobi, the Kenyan capital. That's quite very good news. However, Kenya Airways is suspending all flight operations to Kinshasa in DRC after 2 of his staff of the airline staff has been detained by security forces in DR Congo are yet to be released. Those are your headlines east of the continent. Let me move you straight to West Africa. Of course, the big banking recapitalization in Nigeria is the big story. But of course, you have Zenith Bank, one of Nigeria's iconic and the oldest, biggest bank in Nigeria, holding an extraordinary general meeting. The shareholders have approved the shares of Zenith Bank will become a private bank, and then there'll be a new holdco structure. All of that is contained in the document that we expect the Zenith Bank directors to submit to the central bank no later than today. We'll see what the new horizon is. We'll have a whole lot more for you from tomorrow when we have a feedback from the central bank as to how all the banks are lining up for the recapitalization program. In the meantime, the Seplat Energy and Total Energies and other earnings revved up the market a little bit in terms of bargain hunting, but of course the dividend payment put pressure on stocks. So you've got GTCO shares down yesterday on the Nigerian bourse. FCMB, Nigeria's First City Monument Bank, has signed a $15 million financing deal with the ITFC, that's the International Trade Finance Corporation. That was done at the annual general meeting of the Islamic Development Bank in Riyadh. In the meantime, Benin Republic has become the first country in Sub-Saharan Africa to join the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development as a shareholder. Benin Republic will become the 75th shareholder of EBRD as the despecialized European bank extends its frontiers into sub-Saharan Africa and into the Middle East, also likely Iraq as well. And crop outlook, as well as lower bullish bets, pushed down cocoa prices on both New York and London markets on Monday, down about 15%. We've seen cocoa prices about 10,000 metric tons in the last couple of weeks. Let's take it now and walk through the Southern Africa's top headlines as we move on to the final hours of Tuesday, the 30th of April. Zambia has unveiled a $10.4 billion 6-year national green growth strategy that comes under President Ichilema as the country looks to do a whole lot more around climate adaptation, climate change resilience, and all of that. And fuel prices in Namibia, which is looking to join OPEC in the years ahead, looking at 700,000 barrels per day by the year 2030, could be on an upward trend if oil prices continue to go up. In the meantime, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe says the new ZiG 1 and 5 denomination would no longer be printed in notes, but in coins. And Blantyre Hotel of Malawi, listed on the stock exchange, says its full year 2023 results could differ by as much as 20% from that of 2022. We'll see what the numbers for last year look like when this release to the market over there. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, so let's sum it up in North Africa as we look at some of the biggest headlines from this corridor. Tunisia signed a $1.2 billion deal with the ITFC, which is the International Trade Finance Corporation, to support local companies, energy sector, and all of that. That deal was also signed at the last week's Islamic Development Bank annual meetings in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. In the meantime, Egypt, the IMF says it's expecting roughly $640 million from the sale of 2 more state-owned enterprises by the Egyptian authorities in the second quarter, which we're currently in. The first month of the second quarter ends today, so we've got about 2 months left. We're looking at that. Sudan says its gold revenues has not been affected by the war ongoing in the country by the civil conflict. In Egypt's foreign trade, top about roughly $25 billion in this first quarter, 2023-2024 period. And those are your headlines this Tuesday, the 30th of April. So welcome to May, when we resume tomorrow. Bye for now, everyone.